Deep inside the wilderness, hidden cameras record a world that humans were never meant to see. Some animals walk past without noticing. Others stop, stare directly into the lens, and seem to understand that they are being watched. But the most surprising clips reveal behaviors so rare that even wildlife researchers may wait years to witness them. These are 20 rare wildlife moments caught on hidden cameras. And the final clip shows an encounter that almost never happens in front of a camera. Trail cameras can remain alone in the forest for weeks or even months. They do not make sudden movements, carry a human scent for long, or disturb the animals around them. Because of this, they capture wildlife behaving naturally, often when no person is nearby. Let us begin with a visitor that became a little too curious. Number 20. At number 20, a black bear discovers something unfamiliar attached to a tree. At first, it keeps its distance. Then curiosity takes over. The bear approaches slowly, sniffs the housing, and presses its nose against the lens. Bears have an extraordinary sense of smell, so this camera may have carried traces of the person who installed it. What looks like aggression is more likely a careful investigation. Unfortunately for the camera, the bear decides that smelling it is not enough. Number 19. This fox was recorded returning to the same tree again and again. Instead of hunting, it rolls across the ground, jumps between the roots, and chases its own tail. Wild foxes are often seen as cautious and serious animals, but when they feel safe, they can be remarkably playful. Young foxes use play to practice balance, speed, and hunting movements. For a few minutes, this quiet patch of forest becomes a private playground. Number 18. At number 18, a young deer notices a faint reflection in the camera lens. It freezes, moves closer, and studies the unfamiliar face. Most deer do not recognize themselves in reflections. To this animal, the image may appear to be another deer silently staring back. After several cautious steps, it finally decides that the stranger is not a threat. But it never completely takes its eyes off the camera. Number 17. A single wild boar appears in the darkness, seconds later. The real surprise follows behind her. One by one, a line of tiny piglets crosses the trail. Female wild boars are highly protective mothers and often travel with their young in family groups. The adult remains alert while the piglets stay close together. The last one pauses briefly beside the camera before rushing to catch up with the others. For several hours, this camera recorded nothing but an empty branch. Then, without warning, an owl appeared directly in front of the lens. Owls have specialized feathers that reduce the sound of air moving across their wings. This allows them to approach prey almost silently. The camera detects movement only when the owl lands. To anything beneath that branch, the predator would have seemed to appear from nowhere. This lone wolf seems relaxed as it moves along the trail. Then it stops instantly. Its ears turn toward the trees, and its entire posture changes. There is no visible movement and no sound that the camera microphone can clearly detect. But wolves can hear frequencies and distant noises that humans may miss. Whatever the wolf heard was important enough to make it abandon the path. Within seconds, it disappears into the darkness. At number 14, a hidden camera captures a massive moose moving through snow that reaches almost to its chest. For a human, crossing this terrain would be exhausting, but the moose uses its long legs like natural snowshoes, lifting each one high above the surface. Its wide hooves also spread under pressure, helping prevent it from sinking too deeply. The animal may look slow, but a moose can move through winter landscapes with surprising efficiency. Number 13. This forest path was first used by a solitary wildcat. Less than an hour later, a second predator followed exactly the same route. Neither animal appears to meet the other, but both stop at the same location and inspect the ground. Predators leave information through scent. By smelling footprints, vegetation, and marking sites, another animal may learn who passed through, how recently they were there, and whether they pose a threat. The forest may appear silent, but it is filled with invisible messages. A curious predator approaches a porcupine standing in the middle of the trail. Instead of running, the porcupine turns its back and raises thousands of sharp quills. Contrary to a common myth, porcupines cannot shoot their quills, but the quills detach easily when touched. The predator circles, searches for an opening, and eventually decides that this meal is not worth the risk. Sometimes, the best defense is simply refusing to move. At number 11, an elephant discovers a camera hidden beside a waterhole. Its trunk reaches forward carefully, examining the object through touch and smell. An elephant's trunk contains tens of thousands of muscles and is sensitive enough to pick up tiny objects. The animal does not immediately damage the camera. Instead, it studies it from several angles, almost as though it is trying to understand why the object is there. After a final inspection, it calmly walks away. At first, only two bright points can be seen in the darkness. They move slowly between the trees before the animal finally steps into view. The eyes are not producing their own light. Many nocturnal animals possess a reflective layer behind the retina called the tapetum lucidum. It reflects light back through the eye, improving night vision and creating the glow seen by infrared cameras. For the animal, this is an adaptation. For anyone watching the footage alone at night, it is deeply unsettling. Number 9. This camera captures one of the forest's most elusive predators, a lynx. Its large paws distribute its weight across the snow, allowing it to travel where heavier animals would sink. The lynx stops beside the camera but never looks directly at it. Its thick fur, wide feet, and exceptional hearing make it perfectly adapted to this frozen environment. Within seconds, it disappears into the storm, leaving almost no sign that it was ever there. At number 8, a mother leopard appears with something small held carefully between her jaws. It is one of her cubs. Leopard mothers sometimes move their young when a den is no longer safe. The journey is dangerous. She must avoid other predators, rival leopards, and any animal that could follow her scent back to the cubs. Her jaws are powerful enough to kill prey, yet she carries the cub without harming it. Moments later, she returns along the same trail, possibly preparing to move another cub. During the breeding season, male deer become more territorial and less tolerant of unfamiliar objects. This stag approaches the camera with its head lowered and antlers facing forward. It may see the camera as an intruder, or it may simply detect an unfamiliar scent. After several warning movements, the stag strikes the tree. The camera survives, but the message is clear. In this part of the forest, the stag decides what is allowed to remain. Number 6. During the breeding season, male deer become more territorial and less tolerant of unfamiliar objects. This stag approaches the camera with its head lowered and antlers facing forward. It may see the camera as an intruder, or it may simply detect an unfamiliar scent. After several warning movements, the stag strikes the tree. The camera survives, but the message is clear. In this part of the forest, the stag decides what is allowed to remain. Number 5. A tiger emerges from the trees and begins walking directly toward the hidden camera. It does not hurry, it does not look away. With each step, the animal fills more of the frame. Tigers may investigate unusual sounds, smells, or reflections within their territory. Just before reaching the camera, it pauses and stares into the lens. For several seconds, one of the world's most powerful predators appears to be staring directly at the person watching. Then it turns and vanishes into the forest. At number 4, a camera records an animal many people have never seen alive in the wild. The pangolin is the only mammal covered in large protective scales. It moves slowly across the trail, searching for ants and termites. When threatened, a pangolin curls into a tight ball, using its scales as armor. Its secretive nocturnal behavior makes it difficult to study. That makes every clear recording valuable to researchers trying to understand and protect the species. Number 3. This animal moves confidently through the forest, apparently unaware that it is being followed. A few moments later, a larger predator appears in the same frame. The first animal freezes. Its posture changes from hunter to potential prey. In the wild, the food chain is not always simple. A predator powerful enough to hunt smaller animals may still be vulnerable to something larger. The confrontation happens partly outside the camera's view, but when the trail becomes empty again, only one animal returns. For years, local reports claimed that this animal was still living in the region. There were tracks, distant sounds, and occasional sightings, but no clear evidence. Then a trail camera recorded this brief sequence. The animal enters from the edge of the frame, pauses, and turns its head toward the lens. The footage lasts only a few seconds, but even a short recording can confirm that a rare species has returned or survived in an area where it was thought to be gone. For conservationists, a moment like this can change where future protection efforts are focused. At number 1, a hidden camera records two rival predators arriving at the same location. The first animal detects the other almost immediately. It stops moving. The second predator remains partly hidden, watching from the edge of the frame. Neither attacks. Instead, they communicate through posture, eye contact, and distance. A direct fight could injure both animals, and even a small injury can become fatal in the wild. For nearly a minute, neither side is willing to retreat. Then one predator slowly steps backward. The other does not chase. The encounter ends without violence. But the tension reveals something important. The most successful predators do not fight every battle. Sometimes, survival depends on knowing exactly when not to attack. Hidden cameras give us only a few seconds at a time, but those seconds reveal a world of curiosity, fear, family, competition, and intelligence. When humans leave, the forest does not become empty, its real inhabitants simply begin living without us. Which moment surprised you the most? Tell us in the comments and subscribe to Hidden Wildlife for more rare encounters from the secret world of wild animals.